This is Nicholas Bell with IONCINEMA, here to review Fatal Affair, which will be available to stream on Netflix July 16, 2020. It's the latest feature directed by Peter Sullivan, who's done a lot of television work, a lot of themed Christmas films in television, I noticed. It reunites Nia Long and Omar Epps, who both starred 20 years ago in In Too Deep. Nia Long plays Ellie, a successful lawyer who's on the verge of opening her own firm. But on one of her last gigs, she is reintroduced to an old college friend, David, played by Omar Epps. And we learn that David had a crush on Ellie back when they were in college. She's, meanwhile, moved out of San Francisco to Ocean Crest, a beautiful beachside home with her husband, an architect, played by Stephen Bishop, and their daughter, who is just going off to college. She meets David for drinks. Things get hot and heavy, but she puts a stop to what is about to be a typical case of adultery, only to learn that David is actually obsessed with her and has been for years. It doesn't help that recently his ex-wife was murdered, and it turns out we eventually learn, of course, who that was. So this is a narrative that plays very much in line with, it's very familiar to anybody that's has a fascination or love for late 80s, 1990s adult erotic films like Hand That Rocks the Cradle or Fatal Attraction or Final Analysis or Basic Instincts, or even the title evokes that period of filmmaking. And it's one of several recent films featuring black characters, like The Perfect Guy and When the Bow Breaks, and even Tyler Perry's A Fall from Grace, the Beyonce-led Obsessed, where we are seeing these kind of recycled themes reintroduced, which is very interesting. It's the first feature written by Rasheeda Garner, and there's a lot of vagueness around the areas of people's occupations, like with the police, with the lawyers, with the architects, that feel like filler. There's also a lot of in the trying to be efficient with the storytelling, a lot of corners cut with the reality, like access to apartments and records and how the police operate. Overall, though, it's really fun to see Nia Long kind of engage and really get into the story. Omar Epps has a little less to do. He's not really given much characterization, which kind of hobbles it. If you think back to Fatal Attraction, you get a helping of Glenn Close's psychological bearings, which you don't really see here with Omar Epps, who's playing a character who's supposedly a hacker that knows no bounds. And although it arguably goes off the rails, it's just an enjoyable film to watch, and elevated, I think, thanks in part to Nia Long, because it has a lot of similarities even with the recent The Intruder from Deon Taylor, starring Michael Ealy and Megan Good. But as I said, it's the performance of someone like Nia Long that really kind of makes this pop. Overall, I would give the film 2.5 out of 5 stars. It's a great Sunday afternoon feature. Thanks.
Hey, this is Eric from IONCINEMA.com. If you want to support us, subscribe below. For more reviews, interviews, film festival coverage from Sundance, Cannes, Toronto, you want to check out these guys on this side.